Here we are, everybody. Welcome back to Tech Yeah. More live content for your viewing pleasure. Just as of late, with all the programming stuff I've been learning and just my schedule in general, as much as I would like to edit some of this video together until I have somebody that has the time on their hands to do that, it looks like live content for the foreseeable future, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We have quite the comprehensive little setup here. Now we have several nice views that we can go by here. I'm a little blurry because I haven't focused it. It's focused in for this area down here. So, and then we have our PC test screen there. So today we're looking at this guy here. This is my nephew AJ, my brother's son's computer. He texted me a few days ago and said that it was just boot looping, that it's not starting up. So I have it hooked into the capture card here and everything. I've got it hooked up on here. The only thing I need to do is switch a network cable around, I do believe, because I've not done that yet. Yep. And then we're going to give it a mouse and keyboard here as well. Okay, there's that. We got to pull this mouse control thingy off. There we go. Alright, Ethernet cable. I know you guys can't see this, but it's such a rat's nest back here of wires that I'm going to build a box for the capture setup over here, so that way it's not so... It's really a rat's nest back here where all this recording stuff's plugged in. It is, and it gets, you know, it's quite involved, but it's allowing us to get... really good views here. I'm really digging this setup here now. Coming from a really crappy webcam to having this thing is real nice. So, and it lets us get really close shots. It'll be blurry, obviously, with my hand up there, but it lets us get some really good macros. If I can focus in on this. Oh, I guess help if I like aim it right. It's hard to like get where it's... I don't know why I can't get this. There we go. It's a lot easier down here. But I have the camera pushed all the way up for the moment, because when we do start fixing the computer, it's going to be down here where we're at. So anyways, that's enough explaining the camera setup. People that aren't new to the stream will kind of know what the deal is. I'm basically just going to diagnose this like I would if the cameras weren't on. It's obviously going to take me a little longer because I'm going to be talking constantly, droning on to you guys on the camera here, but that's kind of become my process anymore. I think I feel like I can't think, like literally every computer I get out here, with the exception of the one that I fixed before this one. That's because it's a camera server, and as much as I want to show people how to operate their own camera server, it's a lot of sensitive information involved. So maybe at some point when I can get somebody that wants a whole camera setup, and I can get it here in the shop and hook it up, like do a pseudo 8 camera setup and hook it up here and actually show you the whole setup process and do it in a manner in which it's not going to harm somebody's personal information. But anyways, let's go ahead and switch over here to our other view. I'm going to go around here and make sure the power switch is on. And if this boots right up, I'm going to be so mad. Now, I'll actually be happy about it, but... Ooh, that power button is sticky. Yep, that's exactly what's going on there. So, the power button is stuck down. I can tell just by touching it what's going on. So, yeah. And then it's like, it's finally given off there, but... So, I guess what I'm going to do first here, ladies and gentlemen, that was uneventful, yeah? Yeah, you didn't get to see what it was doing. I'll show you. Here, power it on. It's, see that? It's not coming all the way back out immediately. Now, you can hear it disengaging. So, it's not... It might not completely be the power button, but then again, it also might be. If something is spilt on that area or anywhere up there, I don't like, that's the only thing about computers and your kids. They try to use, because like you give them this thing, it's big, right? And when you set it down on the floor or whatever, it is effectively a flat surface, and stuff gets set on them more often than not. And the problem with that is you set soda and crap on them, and yeah. I didn't have to get that dramatic, but you understand what I mean. You know what I mean? Like, because when you're getting there and you're gaming, here I'll even give you the top-down view. You got the W key, and you get your mouse action going on here, you know, and then you're like, and somebody else from downstairs, hey, dinner's ready, and you're like, oh, and that's exactly what happens. I can almost guarantee it. So I'm a little scared, but let's go ahead and unplug it and open it up here, and hopefully there's no like sticky stuff on the motherboard or anything, and it's all down inside of that button. Because even though it's probably going to be a pain in the butt to take off the chip and everything, where the front panel switch and everything is, it'll be a lot easier to get that off and clean it off with alcohol than it will be to try and replace the parts in here. I do have parts available, but this is an old Core i7. It's a first gen i7, so it's not, this is a 4th gen i5, first gen i7. They might be about the same compute-wise, actually, but I'm just going to lose USB 3 ports. I do have a card, though, so Can still get one USB 3 port, but there's no front panel connector on here for the ones up top. Actually, did I solve that problem for him already? No, so he already doesn't have his blue port on top anyway. So this does have USB 3 on the motherboard, but as far as I remember, I couldn't remember if it had. Oh, it does have 3.0 header. So yeah, let's go ahead and see, and hopefully that's just it. Hopefully there's just a bunch of sticky, nasty stuff in the power button, and that'll be the end of it. But you never know. We'll go ahead and reseat the RAM, and we'll check on the processor and everything and make sure that the thermal paste isn't all icky and dried up, and you know, we'll do all the normal computer maintenance stuff. Even for people out there that aren't techs, this is still best practice stuff to get into anytime you work on a machine of any kind. Normally I recommend at least annually, if not every 6 monthsly. That doesn't make any sense, but at least clean it out once every year, if not once every 6 months. Your mileage may vary, but at the same time, it's a good idea. And don't set pop and stuff on top of your computer. That's a real easy way to make sure you don't short anything out, is keep liquids far, far, far away from precious electronics. All right, let's check this thing out here. All right, looks like we're gonna have a pretty good view down in there. So that's gonna be sweet. Once we get this glass panel off here. I'm kind of glad you guys can't see the multitude of fingerprints on this mug, because they are definitely there. I did not bother trying to like wipe this off or anything. My main concern is just seeing what we can do to troubleshoot this board. All right. Now nothing seems obvious to me right off the get-go, but one thing we can do, gotta stand up here. Sorry if my head gets in the way. I'm just really trying to scrutinize the inside of here. I'm not trying to block the camera, y'all. Well, nothing looks obviously bad, which is kind of really sucks, but let's go ahead and take the power and reset switch off here. And then what I'm gonna do, I think, it has a reset switch on the board, but what I think I'm gonna do, yeah, because this is CMOS switch. I don't necessarily want to reset the CMOS at all, but there is this third off stick of DDR3 in here. We are just going to go ahead and take that out. It's a 4 gig. Those are each 4, so it was a total of 12, but try to eliminate RAM or anything here as a culprit, so we're just going to reseat these guys just for good measure. And then also I should be able to get some postcodes from this LED in here. So go ahead and bring the power back around here. Unplug this USB for right now. All right, and then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring this power over here. I'm gonna plug it in while it's on its side here, and we'll see if we can get some of these postcodes to display for us while we have it on its side. Okay, oh, it does have it. It's right there, it lit up. Cool. And just like that. Oh, man. So yeah, it has to be that power button. Well, sometimes that, in computers, when you've dealt with them as long as I have, sometimes the most obvious solution is it. And sometimes you doubt yourself because you get the answer so fast. But anymore, I just have to trust my intuition. And just like with the PC before this one, fixed it in like 10 minutes. I really thought this was going to keep me busy most of the day, you guys. Not that that's a bad thing. Let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and stand this up. Make sure nothing's actually shorted in there. So if we stand it up, it should stay on. And then we also took 4 gigs of memory out of there, but I think this one's got a shit ton of DDR3 in it, and it's all the same. They are all the same sticks. So I just think this one, yeah, one's a blue stick, one's a green stick, one's a Forza stick. They're all 3 different. Even if they run at the same speed, generally that's not the best practice. So what we will do is we'll populate all 4 slots with the same stick, I think. But for now, let me go ahead and plug the monitor and everything. We'll see if we can get some video cap from this guy here. Keyboard. There we go. Let's give it some interwebs here. Okay. Now we just need HDMI, which is right here. Alright, now I'm not seeing any video out, but we didn't start it with the HDMI in either, so, and I noticed that he's been plugging it in on the motherboard, so let's see here if we can get it, figure out why it's not coming through. Nope, never mind, there we go. That's exactly what it was. The main BIOS is corrupted. Okay. The main BIOS is corrupted. Well, it does have the dual BIOS feature, so we can always switch it to BIOS 2. But hopefully this works. I hope it wasn't in the middle of doing that. It probably was. It was probably in the middle of doing this when we restarted it before. But we're going to go ahead and let this run for a little while. We'll check back in on it in a minute or two, see what's going on with it. But I think for the most part, that's problem solved. So what we need to do is pull. It does look like it's just one screw for each of the switches up here. So what I'm going to do is I'll get in here right about this area. See them there? Okay, so it's one screw for the reset and the whatever, I think it's the LED switch or whatever it is. And then we've got the power button. So it's just one screw for each of those. And it looks like I should be able to take it, and hopefully I can get it with a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol and really get the sticky crap off of it. Because if I had to guess, that's what it is. It's getting stuck in there, or that, or whatever this BIOS nonsense is. Okay, it shut off. And it's coming back on. But it's not resetting. That's the most important thing. That's Windows. That's Windows loading. By Jove, I think we've got it. Come on, girly. It's starting with 4 less gigs. We got a Windows 10. It's got to think. It hasn't had to start up in about a week. So he did say that it was running kind of slow though, and that's what we're kind of seeing here. So that'll be the next thing that we're actually going to do, is we're going to get him upgraded with the solid state drive in here, and then upgrade the RAM to all 4 of the same stick, and then I may even have a beefier cooler, but I don't know if I want to mess with it. It's one of those coolers, if you pull it off and put it on too many freaking times, then the tabs get ruined and you can't use it anymore. So I think for the i5, I'm just going to keep what's on there, but the rest of this, we can clean up, put the RAM in there, get them an SSD. Yeah, because it's still going. This old has an old spinny drive in it, and it's not doing so well. So I do have a multitude of drives around here, but they're all about the same. I think that he's got a 320 gig in here. I have 1 terabyte hard drive, but it's a SATA 2. It's 3 gigabits a second, so it's not near as quick as anything modern, so it wouldn't work for like playing games and that kind of stuff. So I'd try to stay away from that. I might put it in there or something larger. I think I have a 750 that's SATA 3 at least, so I might put that in there just for raw storage. But updating your system. Okay, well, we are definitely going to let it run through that. I'm going to go ahead and enable the camera in this view as well from yesterday. There we go. All right, system's updated. I think this cat's about in the bag here, which is pretty cool, but have to agree, these are unacceptable loading times. I mean, you know, the repair and whatever, that's one thing, but even with the updates and whatnot, it's been a few minutes, you guys. I mean, I've not been tracking this exactly. It's not like I have a timer up on my phone, but at the same time, okay. Well, another restart. So I almost wonder if that lack of RAM is messing with us here a little bit. But also another thing with it being a child's computer, I'm trying to switch between these two buttons relatively quickly because if, he's a teenager, so I don't know. I'm trying to keep it just to, yeah, it works, and then I'll let you guys in on the view when it's appropriate. But I think most of the fixing of this is going to come from getting the parts ironed out, getting that power button fixed. Yeah, if I had to guess, it's getting stuck and shorted in there. So, and that's the thing about the power button on these older systems, or well, not on any system, just mechanically, right? But on computers especially, the power button's just momentary. It's just meant to send like just one little blip to the motherboard that says, oh, on, and then if you press it again real quick just once, it sends the shutdown signal. It's supposed to anyways. Not every computer shuts down perfectly when you just press the power button once, but in theory that's what they're supposed to do. But if you hold the power button down, and I feel like I'm just beating a dog with a stick at this point because I feel like everybody knows this, but what happens when you hold down the computer button for 10 seconds? So anybody wager a guess here? That's right, it shuts off. That's how you force a shutdown without reaching around back and pressing the switch. But you can't just tell somebody, oh, just reach behind your computer and press the switch. And why can't you tell people that? Well, because of companies like Dell and HP that make crappy desktops with no uh-oh button on the back. They just plug right in and they get power, which is a big problem, especially for some of as their systems get older and you go to diagnose them. Some of them, past a certain age, you almost have to open the power supply and check and make sure everything's kosher and on the motherboard too, because I've had plenty of times where I just go to plug that power button in and on comes the computer. Nobody asked it to come on. Sometimes there would be a stupid setting in the BIOS for it. Oh my goodness, Windows, come on. All right, well, at least I can confirm that it is awful slow. And, a 4th gen i5 isn't the fastest CPU in the world, but it's not the slowest by any means either. So, we just really got to hammer out some of this hardware and at least get Bubby going until Christmas time or so. So if you're interested in helping me surprise my nephew, daughter, son, I like to give these things to my family members. I come from a family, and myself, we don't have a whole lot at all. So, I mean, this is a 4th gen i5. My daughter's got around the same era hardware. My son's on a 2600 non-X. I mean, it's all old hardware for us. So I like to, when I upgrade, I like to trickle down and make sure everybody gets a computer or everybody gets an upgrade at least. And I try to do that on a budget as much as I can. And sometimes that's really, really hard. And especially this year, I'd like to get them all at least past the 2010s in hardware. You know what I mean? So if anybody's interested in helping me do that, I had a Patreon, but it's not active, man, because it's hard for me to do this for real. So get in touch with me at contact@techyeah.net if you have any interest in helping me monetize this train, man, because I mean, I know what I have to do, but it's just like I have another full-time job, and I just got to find something y'all want to watch. Because, like, if I would have tried to do a video about this, it would have been a very short video. I would have just been like, oh, yeah, there was sticky stuff on the button, and then I added some RAM and an SSD. It's like there's no video there. A lot of people would ask, what am I doing? And then, I don't know. I've been trying to, like, nail onto a topic, and what I've landed on, at least most of you seem to enjoy, or my reviews, or at least the most popular videos on my channel so far have been like the B-Link mini video, the mini S video. So I have the Sur 5 video, which is right here actually. So that B-Link Sur 5 on top of that old computer case there from the old mapping vehicle there, that's running the whole stream right now. All the audio you're hearing, the video you're seeing, all of it is being controlled via that little B-Link computer. So it's uploading to YouTube right now at 20 at the maximum that YouTube will accept, which is 2400 or 25,000 kilobits, which, you know, that's like Facebook only lets you upstream at like 4,000 or 4 megabits per second, whereas YouTube lets you do ingest at 24, which is a lot better, and the quality of the video is way better. So just for anybody that doesn't know, if you want to stream to more than one, get you a service that does that, because trying to set that up on your own is a headache and a half. I've almost managed to figure it out. I just like to have control of my own stuff, so I don't like services for that reason, because, well, look at how many of us are having to rebuy old movies that we've already bought. We're having to rebuy video games we already paid for 10 years ago. And a lot of that is because either we didn't value the media that it was on, and then we discarded it. And now that this stuff is like neato to go take, you know what I mean? Like, because now it's like you got to get that subscription to go back and watch, you know, Aladdin or whatever. And you know you had that on VHS, or you might have had it on DVD. And that's why I keep this stuff around. I got a DVD combo VHS player over here with HDMI out. So that way, I mean, it's got old school TV out, HDMI. So like I'm good. I can go watch my old movies, and I can put them on PC. I'm almost scared to check the progress here. I wish there was somebody watching her in chat so we could say, you know, like, wager a guess, you know, if it's going to be ready to go yet. No! Should put money on that. 100% complete. Do not turn off your computer. Yeah. I really hope I can rescue his data off of that drive. I guess I'll need to know if there's anything important on it first, though. Come on, pewter. Yay. And out comes that power button, man. Or maybe not. It's like, ooh, there's a fan in there. That was fun. There it is. Okay, so this is just, the button seems fine. But of course, all that plastic bit with the stickiness is all stuck up in here. I don't know if I can get a good shot of that or not. I'll try to switch over here. So, see this plastic area that I just pulled this out of, that's actually permanently attached to the case for whatever reason. So now the button is down, I might actually be able to get that. You can almost kind of see it. It's got sticky residue around the whole inside of the perimeter. You can kind of almost make it out there. It's real gunky and nasty. So I'm gonna grab my little razor blade here and see if I can't clean that up a little bit. Hey, we got a login screen finally. Oh yeah, it's nasty. Okay. Hey. Is that really? Okay, I was like, it looked like the game loading screen. I'm like, what is going on here? All right, buddy. Well, I don't know if you're watching right now, AJ. Your dad might be, though. I'm not sure. But there it is after. Oh, you got Opera GX, huh? You got the gamer browser. All right. Well, we're definitely going to do... I'm already seeing quite a bit of software here, buddy, that you don't need. All that WinZip stuff, don't need it. So yeah, we're definitely gonna get rid of a bunch of this other crap because there's a good chance that it's a lot of this slowing your PC down too. So we're gonna go ahead and switch off of here because I don't know what else is gonna try to start. Actually, I should probably see if I could at least get it to shut down real quick here. Yeah. So we have a combination of issues here. We've got an infected file system, sticky stuff on the buttons. This is classic teenagers' computer stuff. And speaking as somebody who's been a teenager, sorry, I didn't mean to make that way loud. But speaking as somebody that's been a teenager and a computer person, both, I can tell you that that's just par for the course, man. Eating Cheetos, drinking your Mountain Dews, you're searching the internet for cool stuff and mods for your games and trying to find stuff on there for free because you don't have a credit card because you're a kid. You know, this is just normal when kids have a computer stuff. So I honestly, I haven't touched this PC in about a year or so. I think when I upgraded the RAM or took them to up to 12 gigabytes at least. I think I gave it to him with that. So there's actually a pretty good chance that I've not done any maintenance or anything on this machine in the 2 years since I built it. So it's probably about time to take it and do a once over anyways. I'm having a lot of trouble even with this razor blade getting out whatever is stuck down in that hole. It is not being my friend right now, you guys. I'm gonna try some alcohol on this paper towel And we'll see if that will work here. I'm still going to use the razor blade because I feel like that's going to be my best bet here to get this crap out of here. Yeah. This is, well, you can't really make it out. There you go. It's like black, sticky. I'm going to push that up and down here with this. There we go. Should be able to get it out of there. Yeah. You can tell he's had to pry it up before, so AJ, I feel like you knew well, at least what some of the problem here was. Yeah, it's brown. This had to have been like Pepsi or Coke or something. Dang it! Alright. You can count on me to drop stuff. It's classic tech tips right there. Drop it. Okay. Really got to check that hole. Yeah, it's all the way down in there, y'all. I don't know if I can get a good shot of that or not. Let me see. Let's see if I can focus y'all in here. Yeah, you can't really tell, but you can definitely see it a little better now. See what I'm dealing with here. Got most of it out now. I just need to get like up against the edges real good, and that bottom has like a flat surface area. There we go. So now if I put that button back in there, yeah, buddy. Can you hear it? I can't. I don't have headphones on for the live audio playback, so I can't really tell if I managed it there with any success or not, you guys. But hey, that's one thing out the way. So go ahead and get that screw back in here. Okay, go ahead and turn this off here, back there. We're going to there we go. All right. Cool. Let's plug her back in, turn her back on. Oh, wait. Oh, turn it on, turn it on. We gotta put that power switch back on. Alright. Now let's turn it back on. Okay. Moment of truth, fingers crossed. Bam! Fixed computer. I freaking love it. Your confidence grows every day. Even when you know, I try to be humble about this stuff, I really do. But sometimes I can't lie, it feels good when... Did anybody see me jump on Google? Did anybody see me search for any of these problems and issues? No, none of you saw me do any of that because I didn't. This is all in real time. The button was the furthest thing from my mind before we even started this. I was like, maybe it's this thing or that thing, and it was the power button. And obviously, you know, the other stuff that I've already alluded to, we need to get an SSD in here. It's definitely not acceptable boot times. We saw the operating system there. It's junked up a little bit for sure, but the boot looping was 100% being caused by the powered button. So, problem solved. Oh, come on, at least get me into the... It's gonna take a while. I don't want to just force it to shut down, especially because it does have an older spinning hard drive in there. So at least try to give it a chance to let us into the OS so we can shut it down properly. And then I'm gonna get it unhooked and get this other RAM in here, and then I will be on the hunt for the SSD to put in here. That'll be the next thing. So, yeah, uneventful, I suppose, but problem solved. We're an hour into the stream, so I managed to at least make this hopefully a little bit of entertainment for somebody that ends up clicking on this. If you are one of the various people that are going to click on this, I doubt you're going to make it this far in. But if you did, leave a comment. I need to know in what aspect of the scope of what I've done here, you know. Should I just record every time I fix a computer and then just do a super cut eventually, like at the end of the year of like every machine that I fix? Or, you know, issue me a challenge. I don't know, man. The ball is literally in y'all's court. I have the setup here. I just don't really have much time to be able to edit stuff together. But if you want to see me do something in real time, like we're doing right now, with all of our views and whatnot, we gotta focus in here. But, you know, let me know. Because the only thing I know how to do is just like talk about what's new in general. And, you know, that would be fun to be a tech journalist for a little while. But as fun as news is, I need to know what news is relevant to the people that are going to watch me. And I feel like brand new supercomputer that costs a bajillion dollars. That's not going to be the people viewing. We're not buying that. I'm not buying that. You know, I think I spent like $300 on this computer altogether. I got this GTX 1650 right before the price jumped up to literally double. I paid like $149 for this, and it literally shot up to over $300 because I got this right before all of that stuff. This was Christmas 2019, so, or 2020, Christmas 2020. So, It was just before all the crypto blew up nonsense and before all the COVID stuff. So it must have been right before the beginning of 2020. I can't remember, man. All that stuff was a blur. 2021. Yep. So it was still before all that. So either year. Take your pick. Goodness gracious, computer. You are killing me here. I just need you to barely start so I can barely press this power button. There we go. And now we wait for the inevitable wait for this thing to get through all of that, because you see the video is now shut off. Whatever that sticky stuff was, there's some of it on the speaker grill here, or the fan grill, speaker grill. So, we're about 10 seconds in. Yeah, probably closer to 20. About 20, 25 seconds-ish. Maybe longer than that, I don't know. I'm just guesstimating. For those of you that hate that word out there you go. So yeah, we fixed the problem of it turning off and turning back on randomly. So the only other thing to do is to get this RAM upgraded and get the SSD. And the SSD, I think, is in the house underneath a bunch of stuff. We're already an hour into it. I don't want to make this drone on any longer than it needs to. So when it comes to kids and computers, especially if this would have had exhaust fans here, luckily we don't have such heavy hardware in here where it's making that much heat. We're able to do with just the two intakes on the front and the exhaust on the back. It creates enough positive pressure in here where dust isn't settling. There is a little bit of a collection on top of the GPU from what I can see right here, but it's very sparse, and that's probably just from air passing over it. So there's not big clumps of dust in the CPU fan or anything. So this is one of the things I want to note here. So when you're doing this, just as long as you have a little bit more of an intake than what you have for exhaust, it should create a little bit of a positive pressure in here, and that keeps air flowing. So that's ideal, right? So as you can see, what I said before, I've not been in this machine since the 2 years that I've built it. And then other than this here, and you can see it, there's a little bit of dust buildup on the back of this graphics unit. But other than that, and just like the usual amount of dust, I mean, you can see it there, but it's still not a lot. So because of that, the system has been able to stay relatively dust-free. But yeah, man, kids and computers, remind them that the top of the computer, especially nowadays where they're all mesh, see my shadow coming through there, right? So what do you think happens if you drop anything liquid on the top of this computer? We're lucky that it was just the power button, because it could have been actually the computer. You know what I mean? Like, we would have been throwing this other motherboard in here for sure, without a doubt. So just checking my batteries here, y'all. I'm still full battery, so we could go another hour, honestly, but I have so much to gather. I think I'm gonna leave that for off the stream, because getting into the file system, there are parts of that I want to show, because these kids, they click on stuff, man. They especially if you're looking for mods and that kind of stuff. And we need to introduce our kids to coding, and we need to do it in their teenage years so they can learn that these things don't always have to come from these sketchy places, right? There are legitimate ways of obtaining this software, and there are ways to do it without getting roped up into these sites that want to attach things into your computer so they can collect your data. And I can tell that from the stuff we saw on the desktop. A lot of that WinZip stuff, especially all the duplicate stuff, and it wasn't even the actual WinZip logo. And there is no reason for a program like WinZip to exist. You know what I mean? Like, so that 100% sets up red flags to me, because Windows supports zip file format out the box. And then for .rar and anything else, there's 7-zip. And 7-zip is free, it's fast, and it's industry supported. So there's no reason, and this goes for anybody out there, I don't care. There's nothing you can do to change my mind. There's no reason to download WinRAR, WinZip, any of that. You don't need it. You don't need it. Don't do it. Stay away from it, because it's crap. It is literally just stuff to put software on your computer so you can get spied on. I'm almost 100% certain of it. WinRAR, I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, they've convinced so many companies that they need their software for that .rar format, and you don't. 7-zip can decode and encode .rar files. So, and you don't have to pay somebody a license or install the free version and get advertised to every time you want to start or unrar a file. It's so silly. All these ancient softwares that are left over from a bygone era, a lot of them have managed to cling on somehow. They're like, but I shall never die, like McAfee, you know, and stuff. Like, antiviruses have their places, but McAfee especially, that's been in court for lying to people, has no business being installed on your computer. I don't care if their CEO has changed. Your virus protection should honestly come from the people providing it to you, the operating system people, the people making the hardware. You know, these are the things that need to be up to date and in sync. And you know, there's no way a program like that will ever be effective without having full control of the operating system. So the only people that you can really trust to fix those kind of issues are AMD, Intel, and Microsoft. You know what I mean? Like, and Linus Torvalds, and he does. That's the thing. In the Linux community, look into security in Linux, and you'll just see how far that rabbit hole goes. But not so much on the Windows side. And that's why there are so many Windows machines, because it's easy, right? You get it, you turn it on, bam. You have your setup there, but that open nature of a desktop computer is also its downfall. So we just have to remember that when we're out there surfing on the internet. Remember to remind your kids not to put their sticky crap on top of the computer. And also remind them not to click flashy bits of nonsense on the internet, and try to find somebody that knows computers if your kid's interested in like modding games or doing anything like that, because generally, even if it's somebody that's not familiar with modding that particular game, if it's a computer person that's at least familiar with downloading files and being safe on the internet and installing software and hacking a little bit, then I would get that person's advice before you just like start typing into Google searches on whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like I said, there are methods out there. There's even torrent is a better solution to getting stuff off the internet than just following a long random trail of like Google searching and stuff like that, because that method is basically just getting whatever link it can find that matches what you typed in on the whole entire internet, and that is not always a good thing, because that's how stuff like what we're seeing here with this operating system, because even though it is slow and we want to put an SSD on here, it's not all because of that. Some of the slowdown has to do with that software running and constantly keeping the hard drive engaged and loading files in and out. And that's overall the bigger issue here. And then it's also keeping the Windows anti-malware service, which is a bane for older computers. Keeps it at like, you're like pegged at like 30-40% CPU usage, even at idle. And that's not ideal at all. So those things, as soon as I have a better way of portraying them through a video to your brain, I will do that. For now, we have solved the issue, at least I was called about. Now I'm going to make this computer better for him. That way it can at least last him up till Christmas, and hopefully I can get a few people behind me to help with a small fund. And I definitely will include you. You guys will come along for the ride. That way, if any of you help me get my family anything, especially for the Christmas presents that are coming up at the end of the year, I definitely want to include the looks on their face when they get new stuff that's really, really cool, you know what I mean? Because we don't have opportunities to do that a whole lot. So I definitely want to try and capture that. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and upgrade this, get an SSD, and then I don't know what I'm going to do about the file system. I think I might clone it, put it on the SSD first, and then go through and try to clean it, but I don't know, man. I might just, I don't know. I'll have to talk to my nephew and see what all he has installed on here and see what's important to keep and what isn't. So other than that, though, hardware stuff, sometimes you think it's going to be the power supply of the motherboard, and it's sticky pop on a power button. So hope y'all enjoyed. I've droned on long enough. Yeah.